So there are some wild rumors going on out there on the internet this morning, and these are definitely the kind of rumors that means every single YouTuber you know is probably going to make a video, just like I am right now, talking about them. But it's because this is crazy. This is really, really nutty stuff, but it's obviously very exciting. I mean, I am freaking so stoked about what this news could possibly mean as far as games we could see on the Nintendo Switch this year. It seems really strange. I don't know how much I can believe all of it, but there seems to be a lot backing it up. So yeah, let's talk about all of this crazy Mario stuff. So it's early in the morning here where I live on the West Coast. It is only 9 o'clock a.m. and I just woke up not that long ago, and all I could see on Twitter was a smattering of news and comments and tweets about a bunch of Mario games getting apparently remastered on the Nintendo Switch this year, I guess, in 2020, because 2020 is Mario's 35th anniversary since the original Super Mario Bros. Game in 1985. And I do find that curious because technically the Mario name actually goes back earlier than Super Mario Bros. In 1985, because there was the Mario Brothers game that was in the arcade, and I also owned on the Atari 2600, and there was also, I know he was Jumpman or whatever, but he was Mario in the Donkey Kong games. So that's what it is. But as we know, Nintendo even treated, I think, 2015 as the 30th anniversary. So going off of Super Mario Bros. In 85, this year would be the 35th anniversary. And apparently what's happening is the website known as Video Games Chronicle, VGC, who we've talked about a couple of times on this channel because they have broken some stories about some of the development details behind Metroid Prime 4, they are reporting that apparently Nintendo is planning to remaster a vast majority of their bigger Mario games from the past decades. Okay, now this is crazy news. Like I said at the beginning, it's definitely exciting to think about, but it is crazy news, and it is obviously also only just a rumor, despite the fact that more people seem to be backing it up. Would Nintendo do this? I mean, maybe. It sounds like potentially a lot to do. That's what makes me apprehensive about it. So I'll get to that in a minute, but first I want to stick with the rumor a little bit here. Again, this comes from VGC, where they basically state that, from what they know, the initial plan from Nintendo was during the week of E3, of course, they were going to reveal this information, and apparently they were going to have, like, a Mario-themed event to celebrate Mario's 35th anniversary. Some sort of, like, in-person event, probably like when they do, like the video game competitions and stuff, the Nintendo World Championship. When they do those kinds of things, Smash Brothers competitions, Splatoon competitions, they were probably going to bring everyone into a big auditorium to just talk about Mario stuff, and then apparently reveal this big surprise that we're going to be re-releasing all of these great Mario games on the Switch in 2020 to celebrate the 35th anniversary. And so that was their initial plan. Obviously, plans have changed because E3 is no longer an in-person event. And on top of that, a lot of potential game dates might be shifting around, so maybe even their plan to release all or some of these games in 2020 might be shifting around because of the worldwide health situation. And so VGC breaks this news, and we're like, what does this mean? They're going to remaster all these Mario games? Like, what are they doing? And there really isn't much of an indication yet, or at least there wasn't at that time, as to what games that might include. Of course, our imaginations can run wild with all sorts of different Mario games, but what are they actually going to be? Well, it turns out that Eurogamer actually followed up on this story, and they basically confirmed that they've also heard this is true. So now things start to get a lot more interesting, because apparently Eurogamer's involved, and now 2 different sources and sites are stating that, yeah, this is something that we've heard is supposed to happen. And they even have a little blurb on, some examples of games we might see. Eurogamer sources have indicated that Mario Galaxy is indeed one of the games being readied for a remaster, alongside of a couple of other 3D Mario favorites. And then they have an update stating that Gamatsu has now confirmed those games, as well as Mario 64 and Mario Sunshine, which Eurogamer can corroborate. So that starts to give us a little bit of a picture of what we're talking about here. Mario Galaxy, Mario 64, and Mario Sunshine? Like 3 of the most important and pinnacle of all of the 3D Mario games getting remastered on the Nintendo Switch? I mean, hell yeah, man, sign me up. And it should also be noted that that VGC article does also reference Mario 3D World, as like one of the games potentially coming to the Switch. So right off the bat, just based off of these two articles in this rumor, I'm going to remind everyone, as exciting as this is, it is still technically a rumor, even if it seems like it might be true. But of the games mentioned so far, Mario 3D World, which we already had rumored as a Wii U port anyway, Mario Galaxy, Mario Sunshine, and Mario 64. Those two are crazy to me and very exciting. That's basically most of the mainline big 3D Mario games. The only one off the top of my head I can think of not listed is Galaxy 2, which I would think would probably also happen, right? Is there any other 3D Mario games? I think that's it. But then what about the 2D Mario games, the original Super Mario Brothers trilogy, you know, Mario World on the Super Nintendo or Yoshi's Island? I mean, the new Super Mario Brothers series kind of already is a remaster in a way, even though they're new games and new levels. Like, they remastered the formula and the look of the 2D Mario games to make that series. So, I don't know, maybe even 3D Land from the 3DS? I mean, geez, I don't know. This is just, that's how crazy this story is to me, okay? This story is crazy. So now, let's get into my opinions on if this makes sense or not. And in a lot of ways, it makes sense and feels like a Nintendo thing to do. You know, they want to celebrate Mario's 35th anniversary. We know that 2020 seems to be very light on Nintendo games for the year, as far as we know. Maybe one of the things that they've been planning to do isn't to give us Breath of the Wild 2 and a new Pikmin and a new Metroid game and, you know, something else, whatever. Maybe their plan was to just spread out a bunch of Mario games and to just overload us with Mario. Maybe that was the plan. I don't think that would be smart. As excited as I would be for these games, I wouldn't really want that, but it could be something that they were doing. And of course, I almost forgot, they do also reconfirm the Paper Mario rumor for this year as well. So not only are we potentially getting all of these Mario remaster games, but I guess we're also getting a brand new Paper Mario game, which is definitely very cool and exciting for sure. And so I guess that this could be something that Nintendo was planning on doing. I, however, am still skeptical to a degree. You know, I know this will probably get confirmed at some point, and that's fine. But the only thing I'm struggling with here, you guys, is this idea that they're all remasters. I mean, that's a lot of work. It's a ton of work to take several games, even if it was just the 4 listed here. Let's pretend it's just those 4 games. To remaster all 4 of these games and make them as like separate releases, and would they even be separate retail releases for a full $60, or are these going to be budget prices or digital downloads only for $29.99 or $39.99? I mean, if they were straight ports, if they were just going to make the SD versions of these games available, it's a little bit more believable just because, honestly, less effort goes into them. But we have seen Nintendo take the high road before. They completely remade Metroid 2 into Samus Returns, and they completely remade Link's Awakening into Link's Awakening Remake on the Nintendo Switch. Zero Mission was a remake. So, you know, they've certainly done that before where they've gone a further step than just a remaster. So it's not a totally wild idea to think that they wouldn't remaster like 1 or 2 Mario games. And I think that's what's also tricky is like, if you think about it, remastering a game, if it's like a different game on a different engine built for different initial architecture, means there's a whole different approach to the remaster process. And so if they were just doing a Galaxy 1 and 2 HD remaster port, that would be one thing. We've all talked about it for a long time, much easier to believe, and also very exciting. Or just the Sunshine remaster that people have asked for decades. For a decade. That would be really exciting and really great for sure. But once you start remaking and remastering so many different Mario games from so many different eras, again, it's not that it's impossible, and it's not even that I outright don't believe it. It just becomes a little bit harder to believe, because that's a crazy task. I mean, here's 5 remasters from 3 different eras of Nintendo all in one day. Like, maybe they started planning this back in like 2017 or something, or 2016, and they've just been working on it this whole time. Or maybe they could just do it a lot faster than I'm guessing. You know, any of these are possible, but it just seems so weird. It just seems very, very weird, you guys. And so I don't want to put too much skepticism into this. I just want to put a normal amount of skepticism into this, because literally 50% of my being believes this, and the other 50% is skeptical. And so I guess we just need to wait and see what they're going to do, because this is totally wild. Personally, the remaster of Super Mario Sunshine and of Mario 64 is what gets me the most excited. And I'll be real with you guys, I stated this before, Mario 64 is almost my favorite Mario game of all time. In fact, Mario 64, when I played it in '96, would be my favorite Mario game of all time. If we fast forward and we kind of try to account a little bit for how timeless a game can be, I've said that Mario Galaxy is my actual favorite Mario game because it is a little bit more modern and it's easier to play today. Mario 64 doesn't translate as well 25 some odd years later or whatever. But when I played it as a teenager in '96, blew my mind. And in that experience bubble, Mario 64 is my favorite. And so to have that game potentially remastered, which, by the way, back to the remastering thing, there's a lot of work that's going to have to go into that game. I mean, you talk about remastering the other ones and how much work that is. Going back to make Mario 64 look and feel more playable and modern today, if that's their plan, that's going to be a ton of work. Again, if they're just putting the 64 version out there to buy for a download with no changes, that's one thing. But if they're remastering it, that's a huge project, you guys, for Mario 64, because it is that old and the controls are that outdated. Doesn't mean it won't be great. I mean, I think it'll be amazing, but that's something we have to consider. And then Mario Sunshine has always been the redheaded stepchild of the Mario series, right? And I love Mario Sunshine. It's not my favorite, and it's not like the greatest of Mario games, but it is damn good. It is really fun. There is an insane amount of creativity and imagination put into that game. I love the Isle Delfino and that whole hub world experience, and I like the Flood. Even though that game is very hard, I like it a lot. And so that is the other game that gets me really excited. 64 and Sunshine, oh man, bring it on. And then, of course, what about Paper Mario? Apparently, the new Paper Mario rumor, which was going around a couple of months ago, might actually be true. And Eurogamer's sources and VGC sources are all reconfirming that Paper Mario is supposed to be a real thing. This is exciting for sure. This is definitely cool. I'm not a huge Paper Mario fan, as I said when that rumor came out, but I'm not a fan either. To me, it's just, my experience is with Super Paper Mario on the Wii. That's the only one I really played, and a touch of Thousand Year Door on the GameCube, but really nothing significant, but just, you know, I've seen it and I've played it for like a little bit. And I think that it's really cool. Paper Mario is definitely really neat. It's very funny, and I think it's a cool, quirky RPG kind of approach to Mario gameplay in the Mario world. But I don't love it because I don't really love RPG mechanics in my games unless it's just a really good RPG that I enjoy, and there are very few that I play. So it's not like I need Paper Mario. I'm not this rabid fan of the franchise. It would be fine if we didn't get one. However, as I said when this rumor came out, if it was true and a new Paper Mario game was announced and it looked awesome, if those things happen, then I will be excited and I will buy it. Like, I'm not opposed to a new Paper Mario game. Like, just because I don't love it doesn't mean I'm like against it. So yeah, I would like to see one made, and I would like to see it look good and appealing to me so that I would want to go out of my way and buy it. Like, I'm all about it, and it would be huge. People want Paper Mario so badly. Paper Mario fans would lose their minds, and I definitely want that to happen. I don't have to be a fan of a series to want to see that series do well and to want to see that series make fans happy. Of course, I absolutely want to see that happen. And because I would play it if it looked good, it becomes another game that I might enjoy. So, this is crazy, you guys. This is a really crazy day, crazy thing to wake up to. You know, like I said, it's a rumor. Nothing's confirmed. It's very exciting. I want to believe it. I want it to be true. But I am skeptical in some ways. So it's just all about what happens come E3 time. Because I think most of us can assume that a lot of companies, including Nintendo, who are going to do stuff for E3, are probably going to now do stuff digitally around the time of E3. So that whatever second week of June that I think it happens, maybe throughout the month of June they're going to do it, or maybe everyone comes together during that same week and decides to do it. So if Nintendo is going to have their E3 Direct, they'll probably have it in June. If Nintendo is going to now have a digital reveal of the Mario stuff and celebrate the 35th anniversary and also confirm all of these, you know, here's 10 remasters, I guess that they might also do it in June. So we'll have to see. I think the VGC article even states that Nintendo is now trying to figure out the best way to do this information because there's no E3 show floor anymore. So, you know, the next couple months is going to be very revealing, but as of right now, this morning, today, this is a very exciting, very cool rumor, and hopefully it turns out to be true. So, that's what I think. You know my thoughts and opinions. What do you guys think? Do you believe this? Do you not believe this? Are you excited for it? Are you not excited for it? Do my reasons of skepticism make sense to you, or do you think that I shouldn't be that skeptical, and maybe you just believe it outright? Whatever you think, talk about it below, and with that, this video is a wrap. Thanks, of course, as always, for tuning in, guys. This is Rob of Rule of Two Review, and I will catch you next time on another video.